In what, 3 weeks?
We are on the air. It's been longer than that.
It's been long. When was the last time Hi, welcome to Suzilla. That's Matt. I'm Suzie. We're at Wenatchee Insurance. And yes, we had to take a break from podcasting because we kind of ran out of time to do it.
Yeah, we were having customers rolling here at 8 in the morning.
And sometimes earlier.
Yeah, sometimes earlier. And leaving here like 7, 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week.
Yeah. And no real breaks in that period. It's like it was every 30 minutes.
Yeah, we grab ramen when we can. We're somewhere over other side of over 600 appointments in that time frame.
That's a lot of people.
Because I was looking the other day at, what did we do at from October 15th through the December 7th, and it was like 530 something.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. A lot of those are Medicare. A lot of those are individual. Individuals still going for another until the 15th of January if you want a February 1st start date.
Yeah.
So if you missed the first round of open enrollment, you still have a chance to get some health insurance. Bonus cookies. When was the last time we did one of these? Has it been 4 weeks?
No.
5?
The last time we did a podcast, it was Veterans Day, November 11th.
Oh my gosh. So it's been just over a month and a week. So 5 weeks, give or take.
Yeah. We passed on the other side of over 1,000 listens.
Thanks for listening.
Well, it's one of those things is we've been in business long enough. It's like, yeah, people are still finding us and sharing us. And,
and we appreciate that a lot. I mean, that's just it's just a nice little reminder that we're doing things right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are.
Because, doing things right, you build trust.
Exactly.
And that's one of the
things we wanted to talk about today. Is one things we do, we've always strove for? Yeah. I don't know. Shot for is to make sure that people knew that what happened in here was confidential. Mm-hmm. Because not just insurance, because insurance is an extremely confidential process, but that they can trust us to take care of them and do things right.
Oh yeah,
and to treat them and respectful and courteous and in a manner that people deserve to be treated. Everyone gets respect and dignity in our office, and that helps build trust. Mm-hmm. And building trust builds relationships, and building relationships builds business.
It builds families
and
builds
families,
communities.
Everything.
The big key point that we use a lot of is just conversation. Mm-hmm. We have some amazing conversations in our office with each other, our team members, and our clients.
Oh yeah.
The nice thing about it is that it doesn't leave the office. It doesn't leave these walls.
No, it doesn't.
We've got people of all walks of life that sometimes have to phone it in.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Also confidential.
That's why we set up systems where we can work over the phone, over video chats, mm-hmm. so the lines of communication are always open. Mm-hmm. Because half a dozen different times this last week, I've had someone come in and start talking on what their expectations of insurance was, mm-hmm. and it didn't line up with reality.
No, it's because there's a lot of misinformation mm-hmm. about how insurance works and who insurance people are. Of mm-hmm. course, we've always been different. We've always gone a different route than the classic suit and tie.
Well, yeah, because we, t-shirt and blue jeans.
Yeah, literally. Well, okay. Sometimes I'm dressed a little more business casual than the t-shirt because I think my Medicare people appreciate that, but.
Well, it's that expectation.
I guess so.
You're meeting an expectation.
Yeah.
And so you have less hurdles to do for trust.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I can get away with as, a bearded dude mm-hmm. that, with a service ring mm-hmm. that are a whole lot harder for you to get along.
It's true. And every time I get somebody talking to me about in my office, one of the ways to build trust is to, again, make those connections. Yeah. Is if I get somebody talking to me, like yesterday, we had a client who was really proud of their child who was in the service.
Mhm.
And so when we came out, I was like, hey, Matt,
Mhm.
this person's kid has just made rank and they're doing something cool. And it started a conversation.
Mhm.
And making those connections is super cool.
Oh yeah, it's
Super cool.
just one of those things. We've had people jump in, and because we just are fonts of information.
Oh my gosh.
I've blown away more than one person by, you had me, what was it? Explain on why PEB
doesn't
have like offices out.
Mm-hmm. And why don't they work with brokers?
Why don't they work with brokers? And how do we fix that? And
Mm-hmm.
the simple thing is talk to your representative.
Brad Hawkins, for example.
Brad Hawkins, who I'm sitting here with
a Christmas card from him
and his
Dear
family.
Brad.
Having communication is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stress that enough. It's one of the things that I'm so glad that our son that we've worked with, he's taken a real shine to English and communication skills.
Yeah, English and history, and just he is so articulate.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazingly articulate and well thought. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, but that was one of the things we wanted to make sure that to set him up for success was having communication skills. Mm-hmm. And there's been times where we've come in and, what's going on in the world today, and we're able to talk politics. Mm-hmm. And it's
he likes to talk politics, and he likes to talk wrestling.
Well, yeah.
And they're not all that different when you think of it.
Well, wrestling's just storytelling.
Well, yes. And he likes storytelling.
Mm-hmm. But we haven't gotten to commit to really true storytelling yet.
That we know of. He's a teenager. He might be writing that we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because he did ask me about poetry the other day.
Yes, he did. Well, okay. Name a teenager that doesn't at least take a swing at some poetry at some point. It's just part of what you do.
I was in my 20s before I did.
Oh, well, you were weird.
Well, yeah, I was also not on the English lit side of things. I was
more
on the science base.
Yeah, you were a little more STEMmy.
And then I wandered off into the trench coat side.
Yeah, I wandered off into the woods too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, trust is, having Christmas cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rare thing. I've got 3 or 4 about the office that have been sent to us. Mm-hmm. From various partners around the state and actually country.
Mm-hmm. I have one of my people who is a friend before they were clients, send me a pair of socks, which I adore. And they just kind of say everything.
Yeah, we've had folks pitch us. Not all heroes wear capes.
Yes, that's been a very popular phrase.
Yeah. With the Marvel theme, because we're wonderful nerds when it comes to that sort of thing. Yeah. We've had folks who are coming into our lobby this last couple of weeks have been taking pictures of the Christmas tree.
That has been very popular. The Christmas tree is very popular, and it's super cute. I don't know if you've seen a picture or not, but it's a rainbow Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. It's all decorated up, and we've got We've got since we started with Wenatchee Insurance, we've been thematic, and this year was noodle soup. So we've got a noodle soup ornament up there, and we've got a Die Hard ornament up there.
Die
Hard last year, and then we've also got our Equality Pride ornament up there.
Yeah, we had to do that because we did our tour this summer.
It's true. We did a great tour and created a great relationship with a lot of the LGBTQIA plus community. Because we hit the local Washington State Pride festivals and had a blast with them.
Yeah, it was from Snohomish to Tri-Cities, from Omak to Yakima, and a couple points in between there.
Yeah, it was a great time. Met some amazing people and had some amazing pie.
Yeah,
I really want to go back to Snohomish for that pie.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and we broke a lot of stereotypes.
True, that's absolutely true.
because there was this notion that insurance in all the events we went, we encountered only one insurance guy.
One other insurance, no, one independent insurance guy. We encountered other insurance agencies.
No.
Well, what
There's
about?
only one.
Well, no, we also okay. Agencies is the wrong word. Insurance companies. That's what I was looking for. Some of the Medicaid programs were there. Melina was always a presence.
Okay.
Hi, Donnie.
Okay.
But that's different.
That is entirely different.
It is entirely different, but not necessarily to the public.
Because it's one of those things. Is they're there to do outreach versus a agency.
Mm-hmm.
Their outreach is entirely different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because most small businesses fail because of people don't know about them. Mm-hmm. And that's just the raw data when it comes to it. Mm-hmm. So when a small business goes to those, they're investing their dollars.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's not free to go to those events.
It's not.
Maybe your table might not cost you anything, but then you've got to travel. You've got to have the stuff to put on the tables. You've got to.
I've never gone as a profit. Excuse me. There was only one that allowed us to table, and that was OMAC. Without a upfront heavy duty fee.
Yeah, that's because OMAC was so small.
It was, but it was different.
Yeah, it really was.
It was the only one that was done in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a movie show. And
yeah, it was and you know what's amazing? It was a pride event in OMAC.
Yeah.
In northeastern Washington, and that's the fact that it even existed was a joy, an absolute joy.
Well, I think one of the joys about that event, Fire put that on.
Yeah.
Was they fed everybody?
Yeah, they did. It was absolutely. They had a hot dog feed.
Yeah.
And ice. And ice drinkies and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was super cool. Shave ice, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And it was just a really good time. And again, really kind of embracing the fact that that's a very traditionally conservative area that actually unveiled its pride, I was really proud to be part of that.
Now, it's very important as we talk about this and the unexpected.
Yeah, because unexpected things happen.
Because unexpected is really hard to build trust from if you've got a very closed mind and you're not open to differences.
Okay.
And this is one of those things that is really paramount when you have someone that does, for instance, they love their peanut butter and jelly sandwich. However, they got to be cut in half, not on the diagonal.
Okay.
And they encounter their sandwich cut on the diagonal for the first time.
And they don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. Some that are ready, it's like, okay, I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, they'll try.
They'll try. Others will sweep it off the table and throw it in the trash. Mm-hmm. We've just in our years of doing things or more on the let's give it a try. Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely true.
It's you find the connection. We like peanut butter and jelly.
I really do. That sounds good.
Yeah, doesn't it though?
I know.
So let's give it a try and see how it works, and then make any judgment, or make any tweaks to it and change it along the way. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is someone has got to be open.
Yeah.
And that's part of trust. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of folks that are have just been burned horribly.
Mm-hmm. And it creates trust issues that run deep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will admit to having trust issues because I got burned hard when I was younger, mostly when it came to relationship situations. Mm-hmm. And I've had to work. I'm not completely through them. I may never be completely through them, but I'm certainly a lot more open than I used to be.
Oh yeah.
And I acknowledge my trust issues, and that in its own right is a step in the right direction. By more, but when you're burned hard and you've got these blocks,
it's scar tissue.
It's scar tissue.
It really is.
It really is.
I've gone through some serious trust issues of business. The worst one so far is had to be farmers.
Yeah,
had to be the farmers agency.
Yeah, that was really devastating.
Because I literally tried everything I could in my little pea brain to get that thing to work. And there's points where I do that. I will do everything in my power to make something work. I put my best foot forward and reserve that judgment. In that case, it was I had a district manager that was the office I was working out of had weeds that were tall as I was, and so it was kind of hard to set an appointment in a building that looked like that. Yeah. And that was before the days of age of social media. And then people were like doing a lot of buying and selling leads, and I didn't have a lot of money, a lot of close associates in town to do it.
Yeah.
So I was at a disadvantage, and then the fires happened.
No, that was the first really bad fire season. That was Nick's 17. He was going into kindergarten. That made him 5, so 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Right in that zone.
Yeah, it was the first real fire season. And I discovered that this was my, I didn't know this was an insurance thing, property insurance would stop writing policies.
If there was stuff going on that was, okay, let's set a scenario. 3 miles down the road, there is a major brush fire.
Yeah.
You call up your insurance agent and say, hey, I want to insure my house. If you were the insurance company, would you want to insure that house that could burn down in the next 48 hours? Probably not. That was their theory.
That's the theory behind it. Unfortunately, some of those zip codes in central, eastern Washington are massive.
So you'd shut down an entire zip code and you've basically taken out a third of the state.
Yeah. For example, 98801 is Wenatchee, and that's
Chelan County.
Yeah,
and that's Wenatchee and Chelan and Leavenworth and
no, 98801's just Wenatchee.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you're dealing with I think about 30,000.
Oh, people?
Yeah, people.
In Chelan County?
No, Wenatchee.
Oh, Wenatchee.
I said Wenatchee 3 times.
I know. Leave me alone. Probably closer to 40, 45.
Yeah, and across the water, 98802 is about another 20,000.
East Wenatchee. Right, which is Douglas County, and 98802.
Yeah. So if you they like to, when insurance companies, see a raging fire, they will shut down neighboring zip codes. And instantly you have to drive 50 plus miles and talk to people that you've never met you.
Are not necessarily your neighbors.
Not necessarily your neighbors, and probably haven't heard of you.
Yeah.
And make a go of it. So, that was the time I ended up going door to door.
I remember that. With a mask on.
And I did Waterville. I did Rock Island.
Oh.
That was one. Those were 2 nearby. Later on, I ended up doing Quincy. And that was people in our area don't know, haven't really, it's been years since people experienced door to door.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I ended up doing door to door for a while, early 2000s, with a marketing group and selling pizza coupons.
Yeah.
So I would get in all sorts of crazy adventures of going door to door and selling pizza coupons, basically. I remember we'd get to be able to ring the bell if we sold, I think it was 10 certs or make $150.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big deal because there were folks out there that wouldn't get any.
Yeah.
The hardest one I ever did was a Subway that they sent us out a week after they had a shooting in it.
Ooh, that's rough.
I was the only one out of our team that sold a certificate.
Ooh.
Because that's on how rough that Subway was. And it just gets to that conversation factor of, yes, it's rough now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You go to Subway on a regular basis. You're going to spend the money.
Might as well save a few dollars.
Might as well save a few bucks.
Yeah. You're never not going back there again.
Yeah. And they recognized it.
Oh, and they totally did. And that's why it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things we kind of spun off from was people who've had their trust violated in a work situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how that creates scars with employees and things like that.
Well, yeah, there's a couple different things I've seen over the years. Are the famous one of the famous ones I was doing the cleanup at Treetop, and depending on what shift you had and what supervisor you had,
mm-hmm.
The longer you stay.
Yeah.
And it was because one particular supervisor didn't like a shift, so they would be forever unclean.
That's exhausting.
So yeah, your 8-hour shift drifts into 10, 12 hours real easy.
Well, you're getting overtime.
And you're expected to roll back within 8 hours.
Yeah. And that's exhausting.
So yeah, but yeah, there was a couple times it's like, I just want to be judged like you do the other shifts.
Yeah. Yeah. And he wasn't gendering trust there at all.
No. And yeah, he was not a liked individual.
Mm-mm.
I think he had more than one apple thrown at him.
Probably. Well, when you're bitter and you're taking out on other people, it does make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand if you've had something go wrong in a previous business exchange, if you get, like, we got our asses handed to us with McColm Insurance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we absolutely did. But you know what? We still had the ability to trust the next step and the next people.
Yes, and this is very important. Yes. I wrote policies for 3 months to take care of people and never received a dime for those policies.
It's true.
And it was kind of my personal faith is it tied to the money? Mm-hmm. Or is it tied to taking care of people?
It's tied to taking care of people. That's at least in our world. What you and I and Wenatchee Insurance does, it's tied to taking care of people.
And that is really paramount in doing what you do and why.
Mm-hmm. The why is important.
And we wear that one on our sleeve. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of times we've helped people and not expected a dime.
We do that on a regular basis.
And that's with Apple Health. Mm-hmm. That's lending a hand to someone with a group plan, mm-hmm. trying to help them understand it. Mm-hmm.
If the healthcare authority would let me train up on their PIP stuff, I'd be helping them like crazy.
Oh yeah,
but they won't let me train up on it, so I'm not qualified.
Well, yeah, that's a weird one. Talk to your representatives.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that one hard enough.
Well, no, I think that's going to be a continuing thread for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, it might break loose, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's in the same category as, well, since it's both under the healthcare authority, it kind of falls in the same category as Apple Health.
Yeah, because it is under that, the healthcare expectations, and yeah, we don't get paid for the Apple Health.
No, we don't get paid for Apple Health.
We are expected to write them. Mm-hmm. We're actually, because we're an enrollment center, we are contracted to write them, mm-hmm. And we get compensated for that, and we use that for a lot of outreach.
Right, exactly. It's part of the trade-off.
Yeah,
we've got to keep our lights on somehow, so we do want our carriers, our insurance companies, to give us commissions for what we do.
Mm-hmm. Commissions. Sometimes they're kind and they've thrown in, here, have some bags.
Yeah, once in a while we get a bonus if we hit a sales goal.
Mm-hmm.
But we never strive for the sales goals. That's never our. It's always like, oh, that's a nice surprise.
It is. It's one of those things we get. We have carriers that come in and here's your Starbucks cards, or here's your Amazon gift cards for answering the survey. So there are weird things that we don't expect that just happen when you're not focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Ford
mm-hmm.
talked about, it's not, you never focus on the money, you focus on the servicing people,
mm-hmm.
and the money will take care of itself.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how we worked ourselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are not new concepts,
mm-hmm.
but they are kind of lost.
Yeah.
I when I got into the insurance world, one of the things that I talked about is the clash between the banker mentality
mm-hmm.
versus the insurance mentality.
Yeah.
Because a true insurance person is there to take care of a person.
Yeah.
They just are.
That's what insurance is all about: is taking care of the people or their product or their the people if they lose their property or if they lose something with their health. That's
mm-hmm.
that's all. It's all about those relationships and
there's backups. There's redundant backups
absolutely.
For insurance. We've got, when we see like an insurance company going wrong, we've got the office of the insurance commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that conversation. We try to steer, when we get in front of insurance companies, we try to steer them into directions that are most beneficial to our clients.
Mm-hmm.
One of the classic ones I've been working on is, we want to see a expanded Delta Dental on the Healthplanfinder.
Yeah, I mean, the very first year Delta Dental was on there, it actually had really good coverage. Well, decent coverage.
It had
usable coverage.
Yeah, and
and it is for children, but it's not for adults.
Yeah, they pared it back and to lower the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this compromise with coverage for cost.
Mm-hmm.
And by not offering the comparison of, oh well, hey, I've got this really minimal plan over here
mm-hmm.
for a low cost. Well, you also need that maximum plan over here
mm-hmm.
with some more cost,
mm-hmm.
because it gives that contrast.
Mm-hmm.
It's why I love working with exchanges, and when we do quotes,
mm-hmm.
we like to use multiple companies. That way, you've got an instant contrast.
It's a perspective. Now we've got a
mm-hmm.
new carrier for dental in some counties
mm-hmm.
around here this year, and they actually have a very usable plan. It's more expensive, but it's a lot more usable. Their network's really small right now.
That's the issue.
But there are dentists in the area
mm-hmm.
that will take it. It's
mm-hmm.
not available to I think it's not available in Chelan County, but I believe it's available in Douglas County. Go figure.
It's because they contracted with.
Yeah, they contracted with somebody whose office is in East Wenatchee primarily.
Yeah, they had enough bays to get the affiliation.
Exactly. So they got that started. But we're seeing that in other spaces as well. But that's a good example of they've got a low power plan mm-hmm. for low cost and a high power plan for higher cost.
Yeah.
And being able to run those side by side is a really nice thing to do.
Yeah, and that having those comparisons is really important to any thriving marketplace. Mm-hmm. It allows a consumer to vet their choices.
Yeah.
And I had a martial arts teacher that talked about you need to vet your instructors more. And because there are some that are out there that are just horrible martial arts instructors.
Oh yeah.
They will teach you wrong techniques, and they won't stress certain things that are very important, and so that if you ever have to need them, you're in really sad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all industries are like that.
Yeah.
They can lead you down a really dangerous siloed path. And that's why we've always encouraged people to sit there and shop around.
Absolutely.
I had someone come in the other day, and it's like, and price was an issue, and I'm like, go pick up an accident plan. And it's like, yes, we have those, and I named off 4 other companies that could provide the same service. And I have no problem referring business out.
Not at all.
As long as someone is being taken care of, woohoo! And that is the prime aspect of A, great service, and B, being a great insurance agent is knowing that you've got other experts you can need to use. I think we're going to be in for a rough ride with the long-term care. If we've got a long-term care program in Washington State,
right?
There was a lot of people that came out and really hammered on its effectiveness.
True.
It was the, well, you can't cross the border and use it.
Yeah, well.
It wasn't enough to do a lot of coverage.
No.
And
well, what did they expect?
And then if you were a certain age, you weren't going to get the full benefit.
That was a hard one. But there has to be a line somewhere.
It's a tax. And the next couple of years we're going to see a continuation on the attack on that, because it is a social safety net.
Yeah, it is.
It is a very critical one, because it's probably the industry right behind health insurance that needs the most care.
Yeah.
Because that is the point where we see in our elders, our seniors, transitioning to that Medicare to Medicare dual SNP, particularly in age homes.
Yeah.
And that's really, as more people use that, they're going to see the value in it.
Yeah.
We saw that with the Affordable Care Act.
Absolutely.
And there's still people out there that struggle with the value. They view it as a expenditure
rather than
an asset.
Exactly.
And because assets take money to maintain.
Right. What I get a lot, one of the arguments I still get is, well, I never use it. Yeah, you will someday.
You never use it.
Yeah. Oh, I never use it. It's just a waste of money. I just throw money away.
Yeah, that's the one. So you start out with, so you're not doing the preventative stuff.
Yeah. I tackle them with that too.
Yeah.
No, they're not normally.
Yeah.
No, they're not doing the preventative. They don't take prescriptions. They're not taking care of themselves, generally speaking, and they look at their health as a burden rather than an asset. Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it, but I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, that's another podcast.
That's a completely different podcast. So yes, maintenance is good in building trust. Right. Check in with people.
Communicate with them.
Have conversations.
Don't believe everything you hear until you talk to the parties involved.
Be open to that peanut butter sandwich cut on a diagonal.
That's right.
Because it does sound delicious.
It does.
So, hey, have a great day. Be open. Be trusting. There are people out there that, yes, deserve your trust. And there are people out there that don't deserve your trust.
That's right.
Test them out.
That's right.
So,
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Have a great day.